Hey guys, and welcome to the grand finals of Death Before Dishonour Season 5. And it has been a crazy season so far, and it's about to get a little bit more crazy on top of that. We have Suave versus Random Nicks in the first of our semi-finals today, and then we have Anticity versus Flying Taco in the second of our two semi-finals, and of course they will then scrap it out in the final. It's going to be a particularly awesome set of games, so let's hop into the lobby quickly. Looks like Random Nicks is already here. And there he is, the boy! Hey, hey. Cool, looks like they're all here. So we'll let these guys do their pick and ban. How is everyone today? Welcome, Desert Fox, the Black Fawn, Alex. I'm going to butcher this name, but the Parkerilla. I believe that is all. Fries check, beers check, funny stuff check. Oh yeah! Sounds like a good combination there, Black Fawn. Hope you guys are hyped. And a massive shout out, I'm going to say this multiple times throughout the stream, but not only are these bad boys going to be playing for the title today, there is a $50 prize pool, which was in fact donated by Desert Fox and the Sith clan. I believe they're trying to get the clan name back out there once more. They've been around, I think, for about 15, 16 years. But haven't been quite as active recently, so they're trying to get back out there a little bit. Massive shout out to him, so there is a lovely prize pool today of $50 for the winner. Yes, bring forth the Lizard Boys, Noob for Life, a true champ, almost booked himself a slot in this final here, but we will see. Suave saying something really random there. Cool, cool. So Random Nicks is going Lizardmen, of course, and banning Dowie and Norska. Oh, it looks like these guys actually might be speaking their own language. I think... Oh god, I'm going to butcher this. I feel like Suave's Polish, but maybe he's not. We'll let them sort their matchups out. Either way, it looks like Random Nicks is indeed going Lizardmen. We're going to be playing this first semi-final on the maps Troll Country, and Maxon River and Excavation Site. Round 2 will be played on Altdorf Outskirts, Astilian Tomb and Pillar of Bone, and then the finals will be taking place on Eschen, Blue Reach River, Alpine Ridge, the Ashen Hall and Summer Song, if it goes all the way, of course. Who's got 2 thumbs and gets to catch a live stream? Yes! It's all about the thumbs. Taco is indeed going to be representing the Extreme Meme team today. And Part Map coming with the knowledge bomb there, they are indeed both Polish. So the two, I suppose, national team of Poland fighting out together. It looks like we might get Lizardmen versus Greenskins, a particularly interesting matchup. Oh no, it looks like Suave may be switching again, but Greenskins Lizardmen is a really cool matchup at the moment. The Greenskins got a load more tools, but I think Lizardman players have slowly kind of sussed out how to take them down. I think outshooting the Greenskins of Lizardmen is actually a really good way to go. Looks like Suave may be going here with some high elves. Let's see, can I figure out what was banned? He did ban Norska. Suave is a Norskan main, I believe. But it's certainly who I've seen him play the most. So I was expecting him to go Norska on it, especially on such a small map where he can swarm very quickly. However, Lizardmen versus Norska is a really cool matchup. I actually really enjoy it now from both sides. Poison Ducky, the man, the myth, the legend. The content creating god of the duck kind. How's it going? I hope you're all good today. Gonna certainly be in for a treat here. The season as a whole has been pretty wild. I'm trying to think who won last season. It feels like a time ago. I know Tlaxland's Soothsayer won, but I think that was the season before. I'll check. I'll check at some point when I hop out. I don't want to hop out of... actually, let's do it now. Let's do it. There we go. So the previous champions, Season 1 was Zakby Sane, followed by Chosen One, King of the Dead, and Tlaxland Soothsayer, in fact, was the Season 4 champion. But who is going to be joining these legendary warriors? Just checking through Discord quick, looks like we just have a few messages of support for the boys. So who do you want to win this? Random Nicks or Suave? Of course, coming up next we'll have Anticity and Flying Taco. Now Flying Taco is not available for another 55 minutes, so hopefully this goes to a all the way. Otherwise I'll have to entertain you by singing a lovely song to you all, I'm sure. The boy Red Legion is here. How's it going, dude? Hope you're all good in the hood. So I'm going to be reading chat off my phone, so I apologise if I miss any questions, but feel free to ask them. We have a lot of people in chat as well who are very knowledgeable on the game, and I'll try to keep you guys updated as I go as well. But I'm pretty excited. Obviously got to root for the Lizard Boys here. Looks like Suave is indeed going Empire, which is, again, interesting. I feel like Lizardmen are very good at swarming Empire with mass cavalry. I myself like bringing 4 cold ones and going Curse of Midnight Wind and stuff, but it does have its drawbacks as well. Karl Franz, for example, is fantastic at destroying big dinosaurs, and there's a real menace in the night, so I expect to see him. I don't think the Empire are going to be able to play this in a particularly kind of gun-heavy way, because there's not too much room. They're going to get swarmed very quickly. But the meta at the moment does seem to be a ton of knights, Karl Franz to support them, and war wagons, believe it or not, who, with their little buffs they've had recently, can actually do some decent, consistent damage over the course of a whole battle to large dinos, cavalry, and the like, and then you just kind of run over the skinks and saurus at the end. Good luck, have fun from Random Next. Looks like he is indeed ready. And we will get this started as soon as Suave is good to go. Obviously no pressure for him to rush it at all. Coffee sounds phenomenal. This is going to come as a surprise, especially as a British person. I've never drunken tea or coffee. Well, I've tried them before, but I don't like drink them really. I am a full-grown adult, and therefore I drink hot chocolate as much as possible. Looks like these guys are good to go. I'm excited. Troll Country is the first map, and it's kind of a tradition at the moment. It's become a tradition at this point to have Troll Country as the first map. It's a real blood and thunder affair. Battle gets underway very quickly as 2 armies just kind of smash into each other in this centre portion, which should be some good fun. And I think it's always a good way to kick off a stream as well. Heresy! Oh, for the coffee and the tea. Yeah, I know. GG's with yesterday's game, Stucky. I was wanting to ask you about the Heaven's Priest with Midnight Winds. Yes, I can speak to you about that, Noob. So, I played in a tournament yesterday. Actually, Noob for Life was hosting. I believe him and Omega Drive were streaming the tournament as well. I had a pretty good run. I actually came up against Empire with Lizardmen twice before the semi-finals, and then I came out again against the Empire. And it was kind of a frustrating battle because it was mainly misplays on my half, really, I think, which lost it. But basically what you do, you get 4 units of cold ones, 2 with spears, 2 basic ones. You kind of roll them in packs. You then float around a Old Blood as well on a Mighty Carnosaur, and you simply wait for Karl Franz to land. You then pounce on him with all the cold ones and the Carnosaur. Their mass helps pin him in. You drop a Curse of the Midnight Wind on him, and Franz is already very squishy. You drop that on him, it lowers his armor and kind of all that good debuffs, and you can kill him in like seconds normally. But my opponent was very wise and stuck to the skies and kind of darted in and out. So I'd pop my curse, and he would wiggle his way free and get back up into the air again. But thanks for hosting that event. That was really good fun. Darth Pendragon. Yes, yes. See, we've summoned the moderators. Got Park Map in here. Darth Pendragon. All the lads. It's good to see as we do load in here. So we should... These guys have all played on stream before. I don't think we ever had any connection issues. Maybe with Suave like once or twice, but these guys are both connecting to each other from Poland, so it should hopefully be okay. We've been very blessed recently. We've had less internet issues the longer kind of I've been hosting these tournaments, so I'm not sure what that's about. Falcon, quack quack. How's it going, dude? Hope you are all good in the hood. Your clanmate will be fighting in the second round, Mr. Flying Taco. And here we go. So, for the forces of Random Nix representing the children of the Old One, or Old Ones, I suppose, we have Saurus Warriors with shields for a main battle line, it looks like, mixed in with Temple Guard. So, Temple Guard pretty risky, because they can be shot down by cannons and artillery pieces, but at the same time on such a small map, they will certainly be able to pack a punch. So we have triple Temple Guard in the front line, mixed in with Saurus Warriors. That's some very cool stuff indeed. These guys have some of the best models in the game, in my humble opinion. We then have a bit of a Croxagore rush. Looks like we have triple Croxagore. They'll certainly be getting those paddles out and be able to break through front lines deadly efficiency and try and hunt down and get on top of the range units. We do have a Slann Mage Priest of Light coming with Thal's Protection. It looks like that's his only spell he's actually bringing. Thal's Protection plus Banishment. Of course, he also comes with his own Banishment and other buffs. And on the left-hand side, we have some Cold One Riders. Looks like a double set. And none on the other side. So overall, a really solid build. Bad to the bones, really, kind of front line. Going to be very interesting to see how they perform. Now, one problem this build is certainly going to have is in the mobility game. We do have double Pistoliers here. I think I'd have preferred Outriders, but these guys can still do some pretty decent damage. For the front line, we have Great Swords mixed in with some Flagellants. So the Great Sword's going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Temple Guard, at least for a time. And there's Spearmen in a secondary line as well. We have a ton of cav, including the Royal Altdorf Gryphites. We have Zintler's Reichsguard, a unit I don't get to see terribly often, but the immune to psychology certainly going to come into play here and give them a big boost. We have more demigryphs on the left-hand side. Karl Franz is going to be floating up in the skies, of course, bringing Galmaraz and the Runefang. And then we do have a Spirit Leeching Wizard. This is going to be an incredibly quick game one way or the other. Looks like we also have a naked Feral Bastillodon, also known as Gary here. Pistoliers doing some okay damage off the bat into Cold One Riders, dropping a couple of models it would seem. And that's not too bad a target for them, especially when they're running away. And this front line is going to be insane. Great Swords go toe-to-toe with the Temple Guard, but in come the Croxagore. Spearmen are having to saturate here, but Spearmen do not have the greatest AP. Demigryph Knights are going to want to get in there as well. We see an early assassination attempt, which is not a bad idea at all, as the Temple Guard had pushed forward, but Franz needs to escape now out to left here and get up into the skies. He did some okay damage, but a Shield of the Old Ones and Aura of Quetzal being popped. Temple Guard have managed to return to protect their Liege Lord here. First Banishment does go down on some Great Swords, doing some pretty great damage all round. And over here, the Royal Altdorf Gryphites are simply being swarmed by the Cold One Riders and Croxagores, actually trying to push through it a little bit further into this back line. Over on this flank, Great Swords are getting absolutely crumped here by the Croxagore, and in the back lines, Karl Franz is desperately going balls deep at the moment, trying to assassinate that Slann Mage Priest. But the Temple Guard are here in support. He needs to get back up into the skies, otherwise he is going to lose the game. Now, very surprised to see there is no life mage on the Empire forces. A regrowth on Franz is always incredibly deadly. The Slann Mage Priest is running for the hills, but Karl Franz takes no prisoners and once again charges into him and nearly finishes him off in one go. Zintler's Reichsguard are here as well, pinning back the Temple Guard. Temple Guard and Croxagore are going to be a huge problem here. As you can see, Spearmen have been forced back, Saurus Warriors are looking comfortable, so are the Temple Guard. The Slann Mage Priest is nearly down here, 800 health, but Franz needs to be careful and pop once more back up into the skies. Now over on the far side here we have a nice isolation from the Pistoliers, finishing off this unit of Cold One Riders. However, they have used a lot of their ammunition up, and it doesn't have the best AP on those bad boys. Karl Franz once again swoops in, looking to kill the Slann Mage Priest. He does, in fact, get the terror out, but 126 health, he managed to flee from the field, and Karl Franz is now looking pretty pinned in. He needs to move out to this right-hand side. Looks like Suave knows this. Fantastic micro so far with the Franz Anita. Should be able to get back up into the skies and force off the Slann Mage Priest for good. However, Croxagore, as well as the Feral Bastillodon, have caught the Deathcaster here. And they're going to pummel him pretty damn bad, and you can see he does fling to the ground. Franz is successful in his hunt for the Slann booty. However, for the main battle line, things aren't going quite so well. There's still a ton of Temple Guard and a ton of Croxagore lurking. However, there is a lot of demigryphs as well as the Zintler's Reichsguard clear out troops who overextended in the back line, trying to hunt down Spearmen and the like. Pistoliers can now be used in their melee state, mainly to chase off troops and get that consistent good value. So it's really going to be the death box here up against Franz, and the problem for Franz is the Croxagore pin him in pretty nicely, and Temple Guard are going to tear him a new one. So at this point you can see Suave is using his added mobility to simply bounce around the battlefield, pick on lone units of Croxagore and finish them off. He needs to once again get back into the sky, float over here, finish off Gary, and so on and so on. Try and tip that balance of power more and more in his favour now that he's assassinated the enemy leadership. in the back lines. We do have Saurus coming back, but as well as some great swords. He's in the Reiksguard floating once again, and some delicious cycle charging could be very effective here. The brave spearmen of the Empire have actually been buffed by the Rutland Runefang, and Cole Franz yells Leroy Jenkins and bursts straight into the middle of the Temple Guard. He is scared of no lizard creature, darting in and getting a huge terror rout, which is going to be a huge problem for the Lizardmen the longer the game goes on. Temple Guard, though, hold firm for the most part. One unit was briefly tear-outed as Franz trots back in. Galmaraz is active, but he needs to be careful. 580 health is really not much on someone as squishy as Franz, and the Kroxigor are coming after him, trying to chase him down. Now, if we have a look through the rest of the battlefield, we do have a Feral Bastiladon who needs to come back to the main fray. He was used very effectively to chase off the enemy, and it looks like Random Nix is bringing him back now. Saurus Warriors are returned to the field as well, but it's pretty much what you see is what you get, and this Cav is hanging around way too long with the Temple Guard. Karl Franz does pop in to try and finish off the Kroxigor once more, but every time he lands he does indeed take some damage. Great Swords and Spearmen starting to run from the field, and it looks like that is going to be game, but a very close game, very scrappy. Suave with some fantastic play with Franz, trying to carry the day as he often does, but his front line got absolutely hammered, unfortunately for him, and the triple Temple Guard, triple Kroxigor build is a huge success, and it's not a build I've previously considered. I think the map certainly helps it out, being so close quarters, but it did really decent and good work. GG. Very close game. So we'll be switching maps now to River and Maxon. One of my favourite maps. Before I forget, let's update the scoreboard. So Random Nix does take that very hotly contested first game with a 1-0 there. Let these guys sort out their picks and stuff. What do you guys think of that? You're not Prince and Emperor. What's up, Viking? How's it going? Yeah, Double Banishment was pretty interesting. I saw like a few go off, and they certainly did some decent work. But I think at the end of the day, there it was just the bad to the bones Temple Guard just holding the line. There was a point there where Franz managed to tear out like half the Lizardmen build in the late game, but the Temple Guard just holds strong, and because they're there and they're this stable backbone, it allowed all the Kroxigor to come back and slowly accumulate that good value. But Temple Guard, they're the OGs. They're very tough. Needed more healing. Honestly, a life caster instead of the death caster, and Suave would have been looking very, very good there. A single regrowth all game on top of Franz, and he probably carries there. But good stuff. Yeah, he only had Fast Protection and the Banishment, which was an interesting choice. What's up, Anticity? How's it going, man? Looking forward to seeing you in the finals. It's going to be pretty awesome stuff. So do have Anticity up against Flying Taco in the next semi-final. Which hopefully this game does go all the way, as Flying Taco is going to be ready in about 40 minutes apparently. So that should be enough for 2 more games. If not, we can always just chill out in the meantime. So Random Nix is going to be going Chaos. It looks like Suave did choose Greenskins, Band, Coast and Counts. Which the Greenskins do really suffer up against the undead factions for the most part. I think they're kind of the hard matchups for them. And apart from that, they're pretty solid across the board. Solid to good in most other matchups. But Chaos is going to be an interesting one. I know Papa Palpatine is probably very excited to see Chaos in play today. Hope we see some troll-on-troll action. That can happen. I've seen good troll-on-troll action between Greenskins and Norska before. Like a frog-led troll army. I think maybe in the last qualifier even. But this time, Greenskins versus Chaos is going to be another bloody close combat grind. Which is what I love to see. A Mega Drive challenging Papa Palpatine to a best of 7 Chaos showdown. That would be particularly horrific to cast. It does also kind of sound pretty fun. Let's quickly check Discord. because we do have a question. Oh, no worries, it's just Ben the Barman saying thank you for casting one of his games. It is all good. So guys, for those who have turned up a little bit later, these guys today are not only fighting for the chance to be this season's champion, but we also have a $50 prize pool for the winner, which was donated by the legendary Desert Fox and the Sith clan. He's trying to get the clan name back out there as well, so if you do see any of the Sith boys out on ladder, say hello from me. A load of cool guys. I think they've been around for about 16 years, he said, one of the oldest clans, but they've kind of not been as active in recent years, and I think they're trying to do a little bit of a revival. But he's the real MVP for this stream, coming in with the fat money to make these guys scrap out even harder. As you can see, the Chaos Warriors are hitting the other Chaos Warriors. It is pretty lore-friendly, though. Chaos do love a good scrap. Much like Greenskins, civil wars between the forces of evil aren't really, you know, a rare kind of encounter. Looks like the guys are good to go, so let's hop in here. And get this party started. River and Maxim. One of my favourite maps. It is a Lizardman themed map, which is relatively balanced, which is a rarity. There is a few. But River Maxon, the legendary map without a river. There is like the dried out bed of a river off screen, kind of. But it's a pretty cool map. There's some nice open terrain as well as some trees, so you can do some good old sneaky stabbings. And at the same time, this formation on the left hand side does allow for some pretty interesting plays. I've seen a lot of people pick this as a defensive formation. Drop kind of artillery up here and protect them as much as possible. Same time, you can use it to flank all the way around your opponent or down this middle gully here. Same time, you have to be a little careful, as there is trees, of course, on the left-hand flank, so you're never quite sure what's lurking in the trees. Hey, Rain. How's it going? I love Chaos. I hope that they will be Black Orcs. I have some problems dealing with them. Black Orcs can be pretty scary indeed. You can either outgrind them. The best thing to do is just shoot them. But in this matchup, I guess that's not going to be such a viable option. It looks like we are indeed going to see some trolls. So for Random Nix trying to clinch this first semi-final earlier here, looks like his main battle line is going to be made up of Chaos Marauders. We have some Aspiring Champions, a unit you rarely see. Some very cool... Wherever they've gone, some very cool swords as well. We do, of course, buff, I believe, the leadership. I have a little double check, but I think they buff the leadership of all nearby troops. Of course, they are aspiring. We have some Mirror Guard as well, Regiment of Renowned Chaos Warriors, triple Marauder Horsemen, as well as a bucket ton of trolls. So it looks like we're going to have 1, 2, and this one distance. Yes, 3 trolls. There's going to be some nice stuff, as well as some Chosen with halberds. What is this build? Like, it looks like Random Nix is just going toe-to-toe. Suave is kind of known to bring the punch your build in the face type builds, and it looks like Random Nix is deciding to go fisticuffs with Archaon the Ever-Chosen as well, Flaming Sword of Ruin, as well as Burning Head. Really fun, just smash you as hard as possible build. Now for the forces of the Greenskins, it looks very similar. We do have goblins on the flank, cheap and cheerful, just there to take some damage. But the centre pocket is Black Orcs, as well as the Crimson Killers. Suave, the man of the people, coming in with the dual Wilden Axe Maniacs, armed to their teeth. Now these bad boys can certainly do a decent amount of damage, and there's not too much range to kind of deal with them, so they should be pretty decent here. So yeah, apart from that, we do have goblins, basic orc boys, some nasty skulkers on the flank, of course coming with their smoke bomb. We have 8 Picaloons in the centre pocket, as well as some more gobbos. And then a ton of skirmish, goblin wolf rider archers dotted along the line, as well as some forest goblin spider riders and night goblin squig hoppers to protect those bad boys. We have the Arachnarok Queen as well, Regiment of Renowned Arachnarok Spider, almost always worth upgrading to the Queen in my opinion. Comes in with the really nifty hatchlings, and what Suave should be doing is dropping those down just in front of the greenskin forces when the enemy are about to charge. You hop in there, you break your charge, and then you counter charge with the Black Orcs. Up in the skies we have Azag the Slaughterer, one of the most competitive greenskin lords, certainly can pack a punch and is incredibly fast up in the skies with 110 speed. He comes in with Foe Seeker, Spirit Light, Yeah, Spirit Leech, my mind went blank there. And Slaggers, Slashers, plus 10 melee attack and 4 leadership. Looks like Suave is certainly a big fan of Spirit Leech, bringing that his only spell in this game as well as the last one. Looks like Random Nix is ready. And we're just waiting on Suave. Who was your money on, boys? The Dark Elves are misunderstood edgelords. Yeah, a little bit like that. Yes, the good guys aren't exactly good, I agree with you. I mean, like, Wood Elves, for example, were classed as a good faction. But it doesn't matter who you are, if you come into their home, they will destroy you without asking too many questions either. So, Goblin Wolf Rider Archers are going to be used to push back the Marauder Horsemen, which is a pretty good idea, especially if you can get the Spider Riders over to support, because at this point Random Nix could just kind of attack forward and try and run these guys over. It looks like just some early juking is going on. The main point of this, for Suave at least, is he needs to fend off the Horsemen for as long as possible to allow his Black Orcs to really do some work, as well as the Spider. But the big old Troll Rush could be very scary here. Trolls do decent damage to Black Orcs, of course. They don't really care about their armor too much. Looks like Archaon is screaming bloody vengeance and going to be charging directly towards the Crimson Killers, who do decide to fall back at this point. Nasty Skulkers are going to have to get a move on and go over and assist. Looks like the Arachnoid Queen has popped over, going to try and isolate some trolls, although it looks like she herself is getting isolated by all of the trolls. This is going to be a huge fight here, so the Black Orcs are going to pile in, and it looks like we have a good old classic Royal Rumble, as Azag the Slaughter does pop in here as well. We're certainly going to be getting a Flaming Sword coming down here. Yep, upgraded Flaming Sword of Ruin, and this could be very bad here for the Greenskin forces, as this big blob fight could determine who wins, and there's a lot of trolls in here, which is very scary stuff. And it looks like the Marauder Horsemen have all got back online as well. A lot of the Greenskin forces are kind of out dawdling on this left-hand side, but the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers are getting into the action, as well as the Spider Eyes. They need to force back these Horsemen, and then get in some lovely rear charges. We are going to be seeing a Burning Head going directly down the line of Goblins as well as Orc Boys, and it sounded like it was an overcast, so as you can see, Archaon has taken a bit of damage here already. The Orc Boys and Goblins have been forced off. We do see the HP balloons spilling out here onto the Chaos Marauders, doing some pretty good damage, and Night Goblin Squig Hoppers are being used to chase away Horsemen, which isn't the best use of their time, but at the same time it's kind of a necessary evil at this point. But it's looking pretty bleak for the Greenskins, as the Crimson Killers, only on 19 kills, do get beat down pretty bad. Arachnoid Queen is holding the lines, and the Trolls have taken a lot of damage, but it's kind of got it along many of them. You need to kind of assassinate a unit at a time, because otherwise they of course have that regen. Looks like we are going to be seeing a Spider Hatchling summon being used very effectively to get to the rear charge bonus. Azag the Slaughter needs to get back up in the air and continue to cycle charge, much like he did with Franz towards the end of the last game. Now it looks like the Goblins still have their Archer assistants on, whereas of course the Chaos do not. At this point they've charged into combat on the Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers. Not a bad idea at all, try to break through them as quickly as possible to come back to the main fray. At this point though, Trolls are starting to break in. The Crimson Killer Black Orc combo is slowly slicing through that regenerating fat of the Trolls, and a lot of the Trolls are starting to run for the hills here. Arachnoid Queen just about holding firm, still having 3,000 health. Azag doing some glorious cycle charging, but needs to be wary. If Archaon just gets 1 or 2 hits in, that could be Azag saying goodbye. Now at this point I feel like Suave needs to kind of peel off with a Goblin Wolf Rider Archer and chase off the Chaos Trolls, so it looks like he's actually doing that for Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. Fantastic micro there from Suave. Unfortunately, on this other side, you can see Chaos Trolls have returned to the field. They're going to regenerate up and keep coming back into the action. Black Hawks holding firm at this point, doing pretty decent. Chosen with Halberds are suffering. However, they are doing consistent damage onto the Queen as well. Spirit Leech goes down on Archaon, as I kind of swoops around once again trying to force off the Trolls. But he needs to be careful here. This is still pretty risky stuff. But the war is active, transforming Azag into a world-beaten menace. And he could probably finish off Archaon here. But in comes some clutch Chaos Trolls. Azag needs to peel off. And get up into the skies. Otherwise he's going to be in big problems. But it looks like he is going to be able to force his way up. No, he turns around and counter-charges. But at the same time, there's a huge break for the Chaos. And it looks like that is going to be game. Although Azag is so low, taking absolutely massive chunks here. If the Chaos are allowed to reassemble the Avengers of the Chaos Trolls, they maybe will have a good chance. But no, as I gets back up into the skies, he needs to just simply hide. And yes, dropped Spirit Leech after Spirit Leech on top of Archaon to force him back. At this point, there are some Chaos Trolls fleeing for the hills. Night Goblin and Squid Hoppers need to go over there and finish these guys off, although it looks like the Spider Hatchlings are now focused on the Horsemen. Trolls are once again rallying, but at this point, the Blackhawks actually remained a lot stronger than I thought they were going to after the initial engagement. It looks like this is now the Greenskins to lose. They have Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers who can chase down fools, and it looks like Random Nix is going to have to go to the skirmish game at this point. He's peeling back with his Marauder Horsemen, trying to get as much damage as possible. With so many Wolf Riders on the field, I don't think that is going to be the best plan. Azak, though, is fleeing for the hills, down to just 242 health. He does rally at the death here. Marauder Horseman trying to force him off once more, but it looks like he still has the broken symbol on him. -1 leadership, but he's coming back to the action for some reason, before once again fleeing, and perhaps Chaos can scrap their way back into this. This is a very scary blob, however, of Greenskins, and if they slaughter these Trolls, there is still one unit in the distance with a ton of regeneration left, but it's going to be pretty tough. Horsemen have been forced off now and are running away. Archaon is down to 980 health as well, and yeah, it looks like Random Nix is going to throw in the towel. Chosen routed. Chosen. Disappointing. Disappointed from the Chosen. Not living up to their iconic name. 58 and 57 kills. Certainly not bad. They did lay a huge amount of damage on that Arachnarch Spider and dealt relatively okay with the Black Orcs, but the Crimson Killers, 66 kills in the thick of the action from the beginning. They truly deserve their title here. But yeah, really fun, good game. Again, incredibly close between these two competitors. GG. And we will move on now to Excavation Site. Best of 3. Let's say best of 3. So, Suave picks 3, and you ban 1 and pick. Then he picks from his remaining 2. Cool. So let's update the scoreboard, and I'll be back to have a chat with you guys. But Suave making it go the distance here against Random Nix after a very impressive Greenskin display. I actually really enjoy watching Greenskins in action. They were quite weak for a long time, so seeing them, after all their buffs is always good. What do you guys think of that one? Triple Trolls for the win, indeed, indeed. Yeah, the aspiring to buff the Trolls is a decent idea. Really kind of went all in there again, trying to, as I kind of said at the start of the battle, they were just trying to slug it out. But you don't pick a fight with Black Orcs. They're pretty damn good at what they do. What's up, A-Move? How's it going, bud? Hope you're all good. Wizard King, hit him with your sticks. That is the advice I give to all of my troops when heading into glorious battle. Let's have a quick look. Oh, map shows Plague of Sotek. So here's the map. Let's try going now and see if that works. So Suave is going with his traditional Norska, which is to be expected here. He is going Norska, Bannon, Coast, and High Elves. Yeah, fair enough. I don't think Norska have any particularly terrible matchups, but Coast can be annoying to break down. And so can High Elves, they're kind of big, nasty dragons and the like. Plus, he may know what factions Random Nix likes to play. You'll see that with a lot of the guys who play multiple times against each other. They'll figure out kind of what they play and try and force them to pick into certain matchups they don't really want to do. Yeah, Viking bigging up aspiring troops. He can ban Coast. Oh no, he's not banning Coast, sorry. Those are his 3 factions he's picked. Sorry, that's me being a Muppet. So at this point, what's going to happen when it goes all the way in a best of 3 or a best of 5? Suave, because he won the last game, he picks 3 factions, and he has picked Norska, Coast, and High Elves. Random Nix will get to ban one of those and pick a faction himself. And it looks like he has picked Coast and banned High Elves. So we're now either going to be seeing Norska or a Coast Mirror. If it is a Coast Mirror, I am going to go away for 2 seconds and cry in the corner of my room. And then I will be back to cast the game. Ah, you're in a King Hill where you're only supposed to bring meme builds. Oh, well, someone brought a serious build. You were in King of the Dead. Exposed. Looks like Suave's contemplating the mirror match. He is contemplating it, but hopefully it will be Norska. I'm praying. I am praying. Norska are pretty good at swarming, so I don't think it's the worst situation. And they are Suave's main faction, so I'm just trying to talk myself into the fact it's not going to be a mirror. Phew. Oh, he's just checking builds. Suave going to have a little look through. Builds is something I've actually started doing recently. I never really used to have set builds. I would just kind of pop in and pick whatever I felt like on the day. But I do have a few builds now. Thank you guys for tuning in, by the way. Hope you are enjoying it so far. We still have another semi-final after this. And if you enjoy, feel free to smack that thumbs up button. Helps push this out to more people so we can engulf them into the Total War community. Drag them in and turn them to one of us. I've been reading the Witcher books recently, and that's basically all Dryads do in that world. It's pretty horrific. They kind of capture like children, or I think mainly young girls, like when they're kids, and they basically brainwash them into becoming Dryads, and they let them like defend the forest. It's all pretty crazy stuff. Bring on the cannon fire. Fire! Oh no! No! Suave, don't do it. I believe in you. Believe in your Norskans. I think he's just checking builds at the moment. Okay, he's picked Norska. He picked Norska. He tempted us there. He tempted us. To the trenches, it would have been a real World War I situation. Both forces just slowly scrapping it out. To the deep they shall go. That'd be pretty funny stuff. But luckily we're here, not in a Vampire Council mirror match. But it should be good. Should be good. Expect to see some more vampires in the future as well. I'm pretty sure Anticity is I knew he used to be a Dowie and Vampirate's main. He can now basically play everyone, it seems, at a very high level. But we may see them in the future. I don't think Flying Taco plays them particularly well. Or, well, he probably plays them well, but I don't think he plays them particularly often. We're more likely to see kind of some Beastmen and that kind of cool stuff. Oh, it's a water map. Oh, I'm trying to remember why I picked this map. I think that's because we played it in your tournament, actually. Noob for Life. That's another one. Okay. Phew. That makes sense with the aquatic traits. Cool. Not sure what they're saying, so it's all good. It's all good. I want to see a Sea Fan, Burnhead and Pendulum all go off on those gun lines at once. That is a good way of dealing with them. I 100% expect a Firecaster here from Suave. It's one of the best ways to kind of cut through the infantry very quickly. And shall walk the plank. I love the idea of the Vampire so much. Thematically it's so cool. It's just the playstyle doesn't really suit me very well. Despite the fact they are incredibly powerful at the moment. And probably, almost certainly, the best faction in the entire game. It's just tough to break them down. They're so cheap, cheerful, so many AP guns, huge health pools, and of course they're undead, so they crumble instead of running away. bunch of trees you can hide in. Bring the Queen! Queen Bess would be pretty fun here, but I don't think particularly good. Norscans tend to have a relatively spread out formation, even the Marauders. They're not like neck to neck in kind of like a shield wall high elf formation. They're a little bit more rogue, kind of hunt in a pack. And so Queen Bess isn't so good up against those troops. Can still do some good damage, of course, don't get me wrong. But I expect way more cannons from Random Nicks than mortars, simply to deal with Thamir, Skin Wolves, and all that like. I think Suave probably is going to go something like 4 Skin Wolves, maybe the Regiment of Renowned Thamir as well, for the Stalk. And then just a ton of cheap Marauders, Firecaster, and then you could go Wolfric, maybe Frog, I don't know. We'll have to see. What's up, Mule? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Yes, your man Random Nicks is playing. And this is the first of 2 semi-finals, and of course a final after that. And it is 1-1 so far. So been very hotly contested. Random Nicks won the first game before Suave scrapped it back in a really awesome, just punch each other in the face, Greenskins versus Chaos match. And then after this we have Inticity versus Flying Taco. Inticity is a very good player that I don't think he's won a Death Before Dishonour yet. I think he got to the finals last time. He booked his slot in the very first qualifier and did the exact same thing this year. So I'm expecting huge things from him. And of course, Flying Taco is a finalist multiple times as well. I believe he went down to Chosen One a couple of seasons ago in one of the craziest finals. It went all the way, all 5 games. Yeah, Skin Wolves are fine. Like, Skin Wolves are just incredibly fast. They regenerate as well, so they're good to push into the back line. And they're not the worst at kind of taking down large threats like crabs. Of course, the problem they're going to have is there's probably going to be 1 billion polearms on the field as well as 1 billion bullets. But I think their added speed's probably going to help out quite a bit here as well. So I'm going to go turn my lights on, guys. I'll be back in 2 seconds. And I've returned to the field. But yeah, this season's been pretty crazy all round. Had some of the best games we've seen in it, some of the best qualifiers, and some of the best players. And once again, I'm going to mention this now and again because I'm very grateful for him. Desert Fox did indeed donate a prize pool today. So the winner of this is going to be receiving $50 as well. Desert Fox is a member of Sith, which is a very old Total War clan. Been running for about 15, 16 years, I believe. And I think they're starting to get a bit kind of more active again. So if you do see any of the Sith guys knocking around, always say hello. And yeah, give them some good games and all that good stuff. Looks like Suave is now ready. Random Nicks perhaps making 1 or 2 last second tweaks. And then we will get this battle underway. Just going to do a big old stretch. Have a little sip, make sure I'm all good to go. Ah, there we go. That's the good stuff. Throwing stuff around my room. You hope Random brings hand cannons. I don't think it's particularly likely to see hand cannons, but you never know. Random Nicks has brought some pretty crazy stuff so far, but he certainly knows how to make it work. It could be a Crab Rush, just from the first 2 games we've played today, where he's really gone fisticuffs with the opponent builds and kind of just gone in there to absolutely wreck them. We could see a Crab Rush. However, Javelins destroy crabs pretty effectively, especially if we have like a Plague of Rust caster, but I think we're going to see a Firecaster, would be my guess. Yeah, Luther. Luther is very powerful. I think, from what I see, Count Noctis gets brought a lot more than Luther, but I think it depends on your style of play. But if he's going aggressive with crabs and stuff, 100% Luther. Very good at kind of sniping out enemy characters and so forth. Just being able to fly up in the sky and just hang cannon people to death is pretty crazy stuff, and obviously he's a good duelist as well. Although it does make you also bring a caster as a hero, unless you're insane and you don't want any winds magic, which I've seen people do, but it's one of those things I always recommend bringing a mage, unless of course you're dwarves, in which case you don't need to worry about it too much, and runesmiths aren't necessarily vital, but you can bring them. So here we go, and it looks like Viking was right. Random Nix up in the skies is going to be going with Luther, of course, bringing all his nasty debuffs, taunts, all that good stuff. Looks like we have a vampire fleet captain of vampires down on the ground on a crab with Raised Dead and Invocation of the Heck, as well as coming in with his own taunt as well. Looks like Hornswaggle there, and here we have taunt. Which is, yeah, the competitive way to go here was these two, or you go Count Noculus instead with mass summons. We then have a ton of deckhand mobs in the front line, mixed in with some pole arms, and then we have a ton of gunnery mobs and triple bombers. Bombers delete Norscan infantry if they are allowed to shoot. We have a lone carronade to do some long-range fire support, and double Mongols, including the Knight Terrors, Regiment of Renowned version. And these guys do rampage, which is pretty annoying for them. However, they do cause terror, which is incredibly deadly, especially in the late game. You have one Knight Terror left kind of squiggling around the battlefield, and it will come back to bite you. We have deck droppers up in the sky, an absolute ton of them. A really fun build coming in here by the count. So yeah, not too heavy on the infantry. We're really going to be relying on the summons as well as these deckhand mobs to hold back the enemy and allow the bombers to do some decent work as well as the deck droppers. Now for the forces of the Norscans here, over on this flank we do have Ice Wolves as well as Skin Wolves. They're dotted all the way along the front line. We actually have Marauders mixed in with Marauder Champions. We have Berserkers in a secondary line as well, getting ready to charge in, as well as a ton of Javelins. Looks like quad Javelins. Now, one problem Javelins do have is actually hitting units in the air. So I'm a little bit worried for the Norscans. The deck droppers are going to kind of have free reign to run around and be a pest. We do have a Shaman Sorcerer of Fire coming in with Flamestorm. What is this? No Burning Head, no Fireball, just Flamestorm and a Scroll of Shielding. Suave certainly liking the kind of single spells this session so far. And then we have Frog, the Troll King for the Lord, bringing in the Wintertooth Crown. Very good ability, which makes everyone around him unbreakable for a short duration. As well as is that like Fight to the Death or something? Yeah, Fight or Die as well. Which is all good stuff. So the Berserkers are certainly going to move through this front line of mobs, but I am pretty worried the deck droppers are just going to cause absolute carnage. We do have some Marauder Horsemen, but they're not going to trade very effectively here. As you can see, the firing arc for these Javelins is much harder for them to pull off, rather than the single gunshots kind of coming down, which is going to force these Marauder Horsemen to dart away into the distance. So the Norscans definitely want to close the gap as quickly as possible and allow their infantry to really do the talking here. Marauder Horsemen are desperately trying to trade, doing some okay damage, but again, these units won't break. Even if you do a huge amount of damage to them, they'll certainly sit there and crumble lightly. And they're doing a pretty good job of forcing these guys back. Norscan Wolves have darted into the trees here, and it looks like the Knight Terrors are pushing forward. We have the Skin Wolves lurking, desperately trying to protect the Shaman, and Luther going for a rather risky snipe attempt, which I do like, but there is a Luther Harkin here as well as Skin Wolves. Looks like the Skin Wolves were the ones that were hornswaggled, but Frog is going to town on Luther here, absolutely pummeling him to death, and Invocation the Heck has gone off here. Is Luther going to be able to escape this? The Knight Terrors come darting in, and Luther is down massively here, down to about 10 health. Forget the rest of the battle and what's going on. This is where it's at. Luther barely kept alive by Invocation the Heck, but Frog, with an overarming crunch of his hammer, pummels Luther out of existence. A Flamestorm does go down on the gunnery mobs, but whirls away, not doing too much damage. As for the rest of the front line, with the Mongols having to go over to the left-hand side, Hunters do have free reign at the moment to destroy the bombers. Berserkers are clearing up the troops in the front line. Marauders have carved up bombers rather nicely all across the field. However, Mongols on this right-hand side are going to tear apart the infantry with deadly efficiency. In the back line, the cannon is just chilling. Vampire Fleet Captain is falling back once more, and it's going to be very pivotal that the Undead keep the Vampire Fleet Captain alive. They're going to need this leadership. Shaman Sorcerer of Fire is nearly done for here. Deck Droppers slowly managing to finish him off. Random Nick saying oops, and GG, but I don't know if it's completely over yet. There's some lovely summons coming down, and a ton of gunnery mobs can try to focus down Frog. Taunt is on him, lowering his armor quite significantly. However, it does look like the Night Terrors are pretty much done for as well. These Skin Wolves, working as bodyguards for Frog, have done absolute wonders. Looks like we are going to see one more Firestorm popping off, although it was on a summoned unit, and it looks like it's actually going to go wide and not really do too much damage. Over on the other flank, Hunters are looks like they're really punished the Mongols, and Randomix is going to be bowing out there. That was pretty damn insane. I actually loved Randomix's build as well. I think without getting Luther stopped there, he had a very good chance of winning this. He had so many good counters to the opponent's build, but you know, the deck droppers can kind of focus down the javelins and other units and harass and annoy them. Bombers destroy the front line, and Luther can, you know, target down characters and the like. But that assassination was pretty huge. GG. Poor Luther. Yeah, saying oops. But yeah, it was still a really good game. It's just really unfortunate got him stuck there. But Frog just crushed that Luther's head underneath his mighty hammer. There was blood and guts all over the place. 0 kill bombers rip. Yeah. He had to kind of eventually push the Night Terrors over to the right-hand side and just try and bundle in with as many units as possible to save Luther, because it was so key that he basically had to abandon his front line. Couldn't micro it either, really, because he was so focused on keeping Luther alive. It then allowed the Marauders just to bulldozer over that front row and break into the next line. I'm not sure what these guys are saying, but let them finish out. Anticity, hope you are ready. Flying Taco should be here in about 5 minutes. But I'll drop him a message anyway and let him know what's going on. And we'll see the boys in the next semi-final. Yeah, Luther died so fast he needs some buffs. No. No, Park Map. Don't even joke about Luther getting buffs. Luther is incredibly powerful. What's up, Maximus? Love the name. Maximus Decimus. I'm assuming you're named after the gladiator character. He certainly got booped. Leroy Luther. Do 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 do. Yeah, that was pretty tough. See, guys, coach confirmed bound. Well played, Random Nix, though. You were a fantastic opponent here. Now, see you in the finals. Suave. Tune in to stream to see when you are. Cool, looks like Anticity has hopped in. We'll just be waiting on the Mr. Taco Meister himself. And let's see if Taco is back yet. Cool. So I was going to message Anticity. There's no worries, you're here now. And it doesn't look like Fine Taco's online yet, but he said he'd be here at 7:30, so we'll give him a couple of minutes. Allows us to chill out. Taco should be about 5 minutes. Cool. And let's see who picks some bands first. It is Taco. Cool. So let's switch the maps while I think about it. Outdorf Outskirts is going to be the first map, followed by a Stallion Tomb and Pillar of Bone. Back for a while. Hope game crash had to be repeated. Sorry, Blackthorn, if you did miss that last game. It was a pretty awesome game. Very quick, very deadly. Nix putting up a good fight despite losing his Lord very early, but losing Luther, losing your leadership as vampires can be pretty rough. Guys, don't joke about balance issues with Coast. I will not have it. When you're told your Lord is so OP that you believe he can survive anything. Yeah, Luther is, you know, he's relatively tanky, but he's not insanely tank. You are bro. Cool, just message Taco. Cool. Cool, and we can chill out for a few minutes. Noctilus sitting in the corner cackling. Yes, Leo. He's like, well, could have picked me. I hope that with this game we can finally get some ghost buffs. Just send that to CA, like just the footage of that and be like, CA, fix this. We need an OP faction in the game.